Aaron Rodgers, it's finally official. Um, he's going to play 1 year with the Steelers. And I guess he'll be there for their mini camp coming up here, Beltway Bend. So better late than never. We did an exercise at CBS Sportsline last year. I showed it to you. I thought it was pretty cool. RJ White, one of the editors there, came up with an idea for an NFL futures fantasy draft. So it was like a snake fantasy draft. We all got randomly assigned a position. And then he came up with all the categories. So like you had and they were weighted on how many units you would put on teams to make the playoffs, teams to go over or under their win totals, teams to win their division, teams to win the Super Bowl, players to win MVP, players to hit certain thresholds. I won that going away. I think I was up like 850 units overall. I crushed that fantasy draft. And I crushed it in no small part, or futures draft, Beltway Ben, because I went Aaron Rodgers under touchdowns. I went New York Jets, not only under their win total, under their alt win total, because we had to do one of those, above and below alt. I went Jets to miss the playoffs. I faded the Jets, and I jumped on the Rams pretty good on a lot of value to go to the playoffs, things like that. And that helped me. I have not explored the player markets in depth yet. It's something that I'm actually going to start doing this weekend as they more fully populate. And I don't know that I'm going to fade the Steelers across the board like I faded the Jets last year, because Robert Saleh was a joke. You know what I mean? Woody Johnson's a joke. Like everything about the Jets is a joke. And we know what Mike Tomlin, he exceeds expectations every year. But like, I have major reservations about Aaron Rodgers. When you see a guy's yards per attempt drop the way it has for 3 years, when you see a guy miss as much time as he did this late in their career and then come back and really get away from extending plays at all or doing anything physically that might be sort of bang for your buck, risk reward. When you see a guy still want to throw the ball that much to pad his stats, but only want to throw it 5 yards downfield, high percentage passes that, make his numbers look kind of okay. Like, that's a problem for me. A lot of people are doing revisionist history on him again, like they have so many times in the past. Go back to his last year at Green Bay. He started falling apart then. Like, people are looking at some of the gross numbers last year and saying, well, he was 8th in completions and this in yards. And Here's what I know. The first half of the season, I ran all the numbers, and the passing game was better under Zach Wilson through the first 9 games the previous year than it was the first 9 with Aaron Rodgers, right? And Aaron Rodgers didn't even start padding his stats until week 10 when all the pressure was off, right? And there was like, hey, if we win a game, we're great. We're exceeding expectations. And if we don't, so what? Like, I don't think that's going to fly in Pittsburgh. And I have major reservations about this being anything close to what they think it's going to be. Could it be slightly better than Russ last year? It could. Is it going to be what it was with Justin Fields before they flipped the script, where they were running it down people's throats in the red zone and they were able to finish drives on the ground, and they were 4-2, I think, with Fields? I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to hurt their run game.
Yeah, Adam Gase here. I don't see the Steelers making the playoffs. I think this was a joke, and I'm going to ask you a question here in a minute, but could the ceiling be higher, Russ, compared to Aaron Rodgers? Yes, I think. But could the sideline fights stir up? Yes. When are him and DK putting their hands on each other on the sideline in training camp? Probably pretty soon. And George Pickens, as talented as he is, I would have paid actual money as a Ravens fan to keep him with Aaron Rodgers and just watch them go at it every single week, because Russell Wilson handled things very well in a lot of these pressers when George Pickens was furious. Aaron Rodgers would have been, you know how much of a talker he is. So that would have interested me. But we know the offensive line is going to be middle of the pack. They'll be top 16 offensive line. The defense will be good. Derek Harmon's a great pick. Pittsburgh's defense is always going to be Pittsburgh's defense. He's not, like, I don't want to hear the personnel stuff, like, because I'm reading a lot of stuff about Aaron Rodgers. Well, the personnel, play calling, all this in New York. There's one guy who ran things there, and it was him. He was calling the shots.
Yes.
He was making these decisions. This was on him, and he also practically picked the team. Him and Woody watching Madden together, figuring out what guys they liked and what guys they didn't. I'm not buying him. I think he's definitely on far down on his career. And I also like the report for a lot of guys is in this situation would be Aaron Rodgers is signing with the Steelers. This report is he's flying to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
flying to Pittsburgh and plans to sign on Thursday. Like everything with him, I'm so
Forgot.
sick of him. It has to be. I'm just so sick of him. But I wanted to ask you: is there another option? Because I know you've talked about it on the radio station. Are there one or another few options that you thought would have been better for this team right now that they could have added, whether that's through trade, free agency? Are there one or multiple options that you think would have fit this team right now better than Aaron Rodgers does?
I thought that they were a team, and I even suggested to some people in the front office, hey, what do you think of Malik Willis or Joe Milton? Like, I'd watch a lot of tape of those guys, and I don't think the Packers would give away Malik Willis. But I don't think Joe Milton's going to be back because, like, I think Joe Milton's a little bit of a threat to Drake May in a weird way. Like, I don't think they want that dynamic to play out. Like, Joe Milton's just good enough that if Drake May gets hurt, Joe Milton, they might go 3-1 with Joe Milton. And then it's like, well, wait a minute, we were 1-3 with the other guy. And sure enough, right, Milton got dealt. And we'll see what he becomes. These are lottery tickets. But I think Malik Willis, as their attempt at the Justin Fields, or at least to have that kind of an athlete there, in case you need him, the way they did last year, to invigorate the run game, to make to make the defense respect the quarterback in defending the run game. I think that element was pretty big for them last year, and I think it would be big if they had it now. And then Kirk Cousins, like I think Kirk Cousins at this stage of his career can be more impactful than Aaron Rodgers. And I think you're not dealing with the circus and the antics and the McAfee show every Thursday or whatever. And what kooky conspiracy theories is he going to say next? And like, I just think everything could have been a lot more about football than about this sort of aging, decrepit quarterback who is just in the business of mythologizing himself and propping himself up and making it all about him, not even just as a quarterback, but as a goofball human being. He thinks we all really want to know what he's thinking and what he's convinced himself in his warped brain is that his version of reality should apply to all of us. And I mean, he's the dumbest smart guy you'll ever meet. Like he's really convinced that he's a genius. I think this is ripe with opportunity or trepidation, I should say, opportunity for this season to go off the rails. And he's a me guy. He has no ties to Pittsburgh. He has no ties to any of the coaches there. He has no ties to any other personnel. Arthur Smith, he's going to do whatever he wants to do. And if it doesn't work, he's going to come out and talk to the media in a way that it makes you look like the Bobo. There's going to be no repercussions for that because it's a 1-year mercenary deal. I mean, people last year told me how great the Jets' talent was. When I'm fading the Jets like crazy, people are telling me I'm nuts. And boy, he hasn't had guys like Garrett Wilson and, they've got 2 running backs and they've got thunder and lightning and, they improved the offensive line a little bit. And, the only thing they don't really have is a tight end, but he hasn't had special tight ends before. Like, I mean, we all live through that. It's a long offseason in the NFL. Yeah. I mean, everybody's like, the Jets, wow, look out for the Jets. And again, you can run the numbers through week 10. Look at any key metric you want. It was an inarguably less dynamic, less productive offense with Rodgers than Zach Wilson. Like Breece Hall's numbers were down. Garrett Wilson's numbers were down. The quarterback productivity numbers were down. So, no, I'm not buying it, and I can't buy the Steelers to make the playoffs either. That they're in the AFC, which is tougher. They're in a tough division. And this might be the thing that finally brings Mike Tomlin down.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Mike Tomlin guy, but this is
right.
Mike Tomlin has staked his reputation on this move. Like, this is Mike Tomlin all the way. You don't wait for this guy to come into your building at damn near July the 4th like this, unless you're highly tenured, established Super Bowl winning head coach wants it to go down that way. Period. Point blank. End of discussion. It's on Mike Tomlin.